Yeah.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Set for tonight, Mr. Trump.
I wonder what Trump's game is this time.
Trump's got a new game. Trump's got a new deal.
What's your game, Donald?
Heard about Trump's new deal? What?
Trump has a new game. What is it?
Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, Mr. Trump, please.
My new game is Trump, the game.
Trump, the game where you deal for everything you've ever wanted to own. Because it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether you win.
Yes!
Play Trump, the game from Milton Bradley.
I think you'll like it.
But I think if you had a real election and Jesus came down and God came down and said, I'm going to be the scorekeeper here, I think we'd win there, I think we'd win in Illinois, and I think we'd win in New York.
I want to talk about Donald Trump. I know it's an old subject, but it seems like we have to go over it again. Are these people so stupid as to do this again?
I can't believe the guy's got the balls. Let me say this. I can't believe the guy's got the balls to get away with that. Trump lies more in one press conference than CNN does in a year. And this is coming from a guy who, as you know, hates CNN.
Got 306 electoral college votes. I guess it was the biggest electoral college win since Ronald Reagan.
You guessed wrong. Smaller than both of Barack Obama's wins and Bill Clinton's win and George H.W. Bush. It's the biggest win since Reagan, if you don't count everyone since Reagan. But
The rate in our country is the highest it's been in 47 years, right? Did you know that? 47 years. I'd say that in a speech and everybody was surprised because the press doesn't tell it like it is.
you're surprised because it's not true.
You know, Colbert once said that now's the time for you to, all you reporters, to get out there and
get to know your family again. Make love to your wife. Write that novel you got kicking around in your head. You know, the one about the intrepid Washington reporter with the courage to stand up to the administration? You know, fiction.
My favorite, you got to see this one.
Bomb threats have been made against Jewish centers all across the country in the last couple of weeks. There are people who are committing anti-Semitic acts or threatening to.
You see, he said he was going to ask a very simple, easy question. And it's not. It's not. Not a simple question, not a fair question. Okay, sit down. I understand the rest of your question. So here's the story, folks. Number one, I am the least anti-Semitic person that you've ever seen in your entire life.
I don't think that's true.
because clearly you're not doing your job, so you should make yourself busy.
You know, watch that. He said that to a guy wearing a yarmulke. Donald, you're not even the least anti-Semitic person in the clip we showed.
And I cannot wait to see how the Washington Post spins that one tomorrow.
Is it possible that even the media has just stopped paying attention? Because this is exactly how Donald Trump got elected the first time. My God, y'all, he's counting on it.
But you can't possibly know if he's lying on purpose.
You can, Stephen, you can. He's lying on purpose. You know, I would know how?
How?
Because he constantly says the phrase, believe me.
From the very beginning, he said he was going to put people in jail. His political opponents, my God, they used to chant that they're going to put Hillary in jail.
Nobody says believe me unless they are lying. Hey, honey, I was just helping Stacy test out her perfect sleep number. Believe me.
I believe in democracy.
What? No, it's just a giant wooden horse. Believe me.
Believe me, folks. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me.
I believe democracy is our greatest export. At least until China figures out a way to stamp it out of plastic for 3 cents a unit.
Believe me.
Believe me.
Believe me.
Believe me.
Believe me. Believe me. Believe me.
Believe me.
Believe me.
Believe me.
Okay, believe me. Believe me.
Boo-boo. Bing Crosby. The gymnastics portion of the program that's about to occur. That will be the contortions that many conservatives will now have to do to embrace Donald J. Trump.
Most inexperienced nominee to ever run for president.
One of the most divisive presidents in history.
Notoriously thin-skinned.
Straightforwardly authoritarian.
A raging narcissist who has no grip on reality.
A thin-skinned narcissist with no government experience. Yes, that sounds exactly like Barack Obama.
Talk about gymnastics. My God. After everything that's happened, the gymnastics are world class. I think we need to send some of these fuckers to the goddamn Olympics.
This president, the most divisive president in history. Scare tactics, class warfare, racial rhetoric, divided along racial lines, rich versus poor, black versus white, old versus young.
Cats versus dogs!
Was there serious wrongdoing here? Or is this a case of going after somebody who really didn't do anything, or a technical violation, or stretching the law way beyond where it should be? No, there was very grave wrongdoing here, and I think it's reasonable to say that it falls within the obstruction of a proceeding. That's not weaponization, that's enforcement.
Press. I say stop. Can I talk to the media for a moment?
Sure, go ahead.
Matt, which one of these cameras goes out to the media?
That one goes straight to the media.
Right there?
Yeah, it goes
there
straight
to the media. Hey guys. Hey, media. So I heard Donald Trump broke up with you.
Perhaps inarticulate, but he did say, some people are good people. He didn't say all Mexicans.
Oh, no, you're right. And Cinco de Mayo, we had the Trump Tower Taco Bowl. And that's,
I said it's a celebration.
Vaunted historical leaders in that area did retweet white supremacists less than Trump. So I believe, I'm just saying. Stings a little, doesn't it? Finally thought you'd met your match. A blabbermouth who's as thin-skinned and narcissistic as you are.
Obama, he can't read a sentence without a teleprompter. He sleeps with the darn thing.
Probably sleeps with the darn thing and then probably doesn't call it the next day because it didn't say so on the teleprompter.
I think we deserve better as the Republican Party and as the United States than a guy who's going to be convicted of felonies this April to be our nominee and to try to be our president.
By a bunch of liberal Democrats that are trying to take him down because they fear him.
No.
Guess what? If Chris Christie was 53%,
not by a bunch of liberal Democrats.
They probably have your butt in the courtroom too.
No, I'm not going to put up with you saying that. He's going to be convicted by Mark Meadows, a founder of the Freedom Caucus, and his chief of staff, who he called the next James Baker.
Kick him to the curb.
That guy is now testifying and will sit 20 feet away from Donald Trump in a courtroom, taking an oath and saying he committed crimes and he directed others to commit crimes, including me. That's what he's going to say.
All right.
And that's not some woke prosecutor. That's not some group of liberals. That's a guy who founded the Freedom Caucus in the House, a Republican from North Carolina, and his choice for chief of staff. Eric, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm a character guy. And when Mark Meadows gets on that stand, everything I've been saying about Donald Trump that you've been making fun of me about for months is going to wind up being true.
And the whole time you're chasing after Donnie, the rest of us are thinking, can't you see he's an ass?
At Chris Christie, a guy shouts out, he's a fat pig. Now he shouted out, Chris Christie is a fat pig. Then they shouted out, Bill Barr is a fat pig. He's a slob. He's a fat pig. You're not allowed to use the word fat. You're not allowed to say that. So they say, Bill Barr, sir, he's a fat pig. And I say, listen, Bill Barr is not a fat pig. Chris Christie is not a fat pig, sir. I defend them.
The government that governs best is the government that governs least.
I don't like, all these overkill attacks that this was somehow reprehensible to bring it. What was reprehensible was the conduct after the election. And it's perfectly to be expected that the Department of Justice would approach it the way it would approach something like this, which is under the laws against defrauding the United States and obstructing proceedings.
Because 70-year-old men don't get less cranky or racist as time goes by.
Reckless conduct that puts his political followers at risk and the conservative and Republican agenda at risk.
Would he put the country at risk if he was in the White House again?
He will always put his own interests and gratifying his own ego ahead of everything else, including the country's interests. There's no question about it. This is a perfect example of that. He's like a defiant 9-year-old kid who's always pushing the glass toward the edge of the table, defying his parents to stop him from doing it. It's a means of self-assertion and exerting his dominance over other people. And he's a very petty individual who will always put his interests ahead of the country's, his personal gratification of his ego. But our country can't be a therapy session for, a troubled man like this.
And from what I heard, they do anal.
John, you are aware we are on CBS right now, yes?
Oh, well, that's different now, John. He has experience, and we all experienced it with him. Come on.
In my defense, they do anal.
There is no one in the history of the world more thin-skinned than Donald Trump. Please. You can't be that narcissistic without having incredibly thin skin.
And reality has a well-known liberal bias.
The ballots are corrupt, and you're going to find that they are, which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. So look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
The fact that he's a narcissist is an understatement. Hell, it exists on a whole new level. Regular narcissists are playing chess. This motherfucker is playing 3D chess, and he's playing 6 different people.
What he was asking for is the Secretary of State to act appropriately and find these votes that were counted illegally. That was hold on one second. That was an aspirational ask.
Does that sound aspirational to you?
It sounds dangerous and pathetic, in my opinion. And in that moment, when I heard that audio tape for the first time, I had a sea of emotions, but probably led by embarrassment, right? Here I was. At the time, to take you back in time, we had a runoff for 2 U.S. Senate seats that Donald Trump eventually lost for us because of this pathetic attempt. Look, like I said, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of medicine to take. I think Republicans, like many other people in Donald Trump's past, are going to regret ever being associated with him.
Has America ever been so divided? This man destroyed us. We may never recover from it. A lot of true conservatives, people that I have completely disagreed with for many, many years, but actual conservatives, including one of the gods of the conservative legal movement, an actual Federalist, says that this guy may have ruined us.
Anyway, have any plans whatsoever, if reelected president, to abuse power, to break the law, to use the government to go after people?
You mean like they're using right now? So, in the history of our country, what's happened to us, again, has never happened before. Over nonsense, over nothing, made up charges.
I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you. Under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Luddick speaks the truth, y'all. We may never recover from the damage he's done. We must try to mitigate it. by eliminating the threat.
Be bad. Gonna be bad. We've seen him now give a series of policy speeches using a teleprompter, staying on message. Really well done for somebody who'd never done it before.
Appreciate you all for paying attention so quietly. If you guys could just be a little bit louder here. He keeps it light.
You were dead. You're a dead person. Today, the American dream is dead. It's a dead dream. And now I'm going to die.
So I think we should make America laugh again.
One more time, who thinks President Trump is a rock star badass?
I wouldn't allow anybody to put their tent up on our lawn.
Didn't know there was one of those. That's pretty cool.
He tried to change his name to DeSantis. Never change your name in the middle of a campaign. It's not a good thing.
He does beautifully with a teleprompter. My God. Maybe the bestliest ever. What is it, bigliest? I'm sorry. I have trouble keeping up.
Probably tried. Who knows what he did? I doubt it. I doubt it. This was not from playing tiddlywinks.
Because we need a leader that can stand up to foreign leaders.
I have a red button also, but mine's bigger, better, and it works. Shut up, silly woman.
Donald Trump is willing to risk his life in prison to save our country.
A real jerk, a real fool, like a stupid fool. And Jesus came down and God came down and said, I'm going to be the scorekeeper here. They did the indict word.
Barack Obama is anything but mainstream. Sitting in his $1 million home, claiming to be for the people, we have to wonder how in touch he is with the average American. Take a look at him ordering his burger with a very special condiment. Dijon mustard? I hope you enjoyed that fancy burger, Mr. President.
Indicted me for bullshit. He indicted me.
Yeah, you elitist. You probably eat that burger with your mouth instead of acting like a real American and having a Magnum fired up your ass like they serve them at Arby's. That's how they serve them, actually, at Arby's. They shoot them right up your ass.
Your father, they're looking down. My son got indicted more than Alphonse Capone. I got indicted 4 times for nothing, I got indicted 4 times because I'm questioning. Can you imagine? I got indicted. Drill.
The guy who sits in a literal golden throne at the top of a golden tower with his name in gold letters at the top of it, eating pizza with a knife and fork.
Have a legitimate conversation with these people who are all in on Trump, because if you find any flaw in him, even flaws that are demonstrable, they either excuse it or attack you. I mean,
Please. Why, oh why, oh why?
Oh, Trump's just a regular guy. That's why there's locker room talk about raping chicks and then, actually raping chicks. Like you do in a locker room.
One of the more fascinating descriptions of your dad came from you. You once called him on my show a blue-collar billionaire.
That's not a thing.
Since he purchased the New Jersey Generals for about the cost of one of his deluxe apartments, he has created a lot of commotion. So there he is, the owner of a 6-12 team, but an owner who likes to create. He'll find credibility for his team in the USFL, he says, even if he has to build it himself.
True, Trump does seem like the kind of guy you want to sit down and own a fleet of airplanes with.
Yeah, he's not.
Because he wanted so badly to be an NFL owner, but he couldn't get into that club. He couldn't figure out how to buy an NFL team. None of the other owners wanted him to be a part of it. But because he has such a fragile ego, he had to then go buy the New Jersey Generals in the USFL. At that point in the early 80s, the USFL played in the spring, and the NFL, the big leagues, like the varsity players, they played in the fall. And so he moved to have the USFL play in fall and be a direct competitor to the NFL. And he also moved to sue the NFL in an antitrust suit. So they went to court, and the USFL actually won the antitrust suit, but they were awarded only $1. And the USFL executive directors said, quote, the NFL turned around and said it's the $1 league, and they brought out their media guns and just crushed us. It just broke the will of most of the owners. The USFL played a 1985 season, but they postponed their 1986 season, and they never played a game after that.
It is pretty impressive to not only bankrupt your own team, but to bankrupt the entire league.
To end the league.
That takes effort.
Yeah, it never recovered after what Donald Trump did.
He's no good for that either.
Who sits in the pews of Jeremiah GD America and America's chickens have come home to roost after 9/11? Is that a Christian church to you? He says he's a Christian. I'm a Christian. I wouldn't go to Reverend Wright's church.
Obama would. he's the type of Christian that's, not Christian.
Who is the Pope to say that Donald Trump's not a Christian? How can a Pope or anybody decide if somebody's a Christian in their heart?
Yeah! Who died and made that guy Pope?
Trump shuttle's fleet consisted of 21 Boeing 727s.
He actually had an airline once. Like everything else, it was a tax shelter, and it went bankrupt.
Trump suggested that Pan Am's financial struggles might jeopardize the airline's safety, and his remarks soon came back to bite him.
Watch this, Don. Whoa, my God! Whoa!
In August of 1989, a Trump shuttle flight made an emergency landing in Boston when the plane's front landing gear malfunctioned.
Thin-skinned, authoritarian, less than Christian readers of Prompt are being president, or they don't care. As long as it's their thin-skinned, prompter, authoritarian, tyrant, narcissist. Here's my point, media. Here's my point. This breakup with Donald Trump has given you, the media, an amazing opportunity for self-reflection and improvement.
I brought my Bible. Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." They said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." They said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it.
How has your faith grown since you decided in 2015 to run for president?
I had a wonderful life before all this.
Where do you draw your strength from? We're talking about faith.
I have the highest poll.
You just want that person to give you your country back because you feel that you're this country's rightful owners. There's only one problem with that. This country isn't yours. You don't own it. It never was.
We're back on that now. He's trying to somehow pick up the pieces of his bullshit piety.
President Trump's social media platform could be heading for a shutdown. According to corporate filings, Truth Social is burning through cash and just piling up losses. Records show that Truth Social has lost $31.6 million since being founded in 2021.
And it's weak and pathetic.
There is no real America. You don't own it. You don't own patriotism. You don't own Christianity.
I'm Presbyterian. Boy.
And during the Sundays, I'm a Sunday church person. I like to do the right thing where I don't have to actually ask for forgiveness. And when I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker.
You sure as hell don't own respect for the bravery and sacrifice of military, police, and firefighters.
Casino looked like when Donald Trump opened it in 1990.
Mr. Trump, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Bill O'Reilly, then the anchor of Inside Edition, interviewed Trump for the opening. Even 27 years ago, Trump was griping about the press.
You have a lot of very dishonest reporters, in my opinion. And I mean dishonest. I'm not talking about they're slightly off. I mean they are totally dishonest, where they'll report things knowingly that they're wrong.
1990, he had called it the eighth wonder of the world, very deservedly so.
The eighth wonder of the world's in Jersey?
That's it, in
I
New
did not
Jersey.
know that.
It quickly became like a hub for Russian mobsters who lived in Brooklyn who needed a spot to gamble. In 2015, the Department of Treasury settled an investigation with the Trump Taj Mahal. They levied a $10 million fine for, quote, significant and long-standing money laundering violations, which were described as willful and repeated.
In 2017, when it was sold, it went for 4 cents on the dollar, $50 million total. And then in 2021, it was demolished in front of a crowd. 3,000 sticks of dynamite were used to blow the thing up.
And that, Tommy, is the art of the deal.
With their Blue Lives Matter rhetoric, who either remained silent or actively fought against the 9/11 First Responders Bill reauthorization. I see you and I see you.
We see your shit, he wanted to say.
The wine, I drink, I eat the crack. I can understand the evangelicals to a certain extent saying, well, maybe he's not as nice as we want him to be, but...
So I see you. You got a problem with those Americans fighting for their place at the table. You got a problem with them because you feel like the, what's Representative Steve King's word for it? Subgroups of Americans are being divisive.
Maybe he's not as perfect on the Bible. I get sent Bibles by a lot of people.
Where are all those Bibles anyhow now?
Well, actually, we keep them in a certain place, a very, very nice place.
You know, I was personally taught that he who is without sin should cast the first stone. Of course, I was also raised in an evangelical Southern Baptist church. So, nobody throws stones like them. And there is no one on earth like an evangelical when it comes to saying who's Christian and who's not. So, with a little bit of education under my belt, I'm going to have to say that motherfucker's not. Pardon my language, Mom.
Nothing beats the Bible, not even the art of the deal.
I am the chosen one.
If you have a problem with that, take it up with the founders. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Sorry, big up. Respect, Lin-Manuel.
It's a smooth vodka, it's a great tasting vodka, and I'm very proud of the fact, actually, that I don't drink, but it's a vodka that people really like, and as you know, it's taken off like crazy.
I actually don't drink at all, so I can't tell you about it personally, but I have a lot of friends that do enjoy vodka and drink it. They were really surprised with what they turned out. That's what happens when you put the two people that are the best at what they do together, and you get them to work on something, whether it's the bottle, the vodka itself, everything, you're going to turn out a great product, and that's what he's done yet again.
Those fighting to be included in the ideal of equality are not being divisive. Those fighting to keep those people out are.
Divisive. It's absolutely absurd. The idea that there could be anyone else on earth more divisive than Donald Trump makes me wonder who the Republicans have gearing up. Scares the fuck out of me.
Instead of worrying about whether Trump is un-American or if he thinks you're the enemy, or if he's being mean to you, or if he's going to let you go back into the briefings, do something for yourself. Self-improvement. Take up a hobby. I recommend journalism. You and your friends have embraced Donald Trump. Clearly, the C next to your names don't stand for constitutional or conservative, but cravenly convenient.
Because Donald Trump's a fucking cunt. He also wanted to say, no one is a pathetic little pussy-ass bitch cunt like Donald Trump.
No, I think this breakup is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Republicans have only existed with gerrymandering and wedge issues. Their entire procedure, my entire life, has been divide and conquer. Wedge issues. And then that system, or whatever you call it, gave us Donald Trump.
So you really think the media is going to take this opportunity for self-reflection and get better at their jobs?
I really do. Believe me.
Republicans don't give a damn about America. They give a damn about power. And they know that Donald Trump will yield power like no one has ever yielded it before, and he will never give it back, and will have one-party rule. And I hope when that happens, I have enough of a following to give me a little letter-writing campaign, because I'm probably going to be in prison. So, see if y'all can get me out, because I'm poor. I can't really afford the lawyers for what is going to be one hell of a federal case. Because, I got like 1,400 videos. That's going to be evidence. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy.
Look, folks, my point is that I don't believe this is a low point in this presidency. I believe it is just a lull before a comeback. I mean, it's like the movie Rocky, all right? The president in this case is Rocky Balboa, and Apollo Creed is everything else in the world. It's the 10th round. He's bloodied. His corner man, Mick, who in this case I guess would be the vice president, he's yelling, "Cut me, Dick, cut me." And every time he falls, everyone says, "Stay down, Rock, stay down." But does he stay down? No. Like Rocky, he gets back up, and in the end, he actually loses in the first movie. Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The point is, it is the heartwarming story of a man who was repeatedly punched in the face,